The Asius Story. This is the true story of high-fidelity personal listening devices, earbuds, and in-ear monitors, and how their inventor prevented these from further deafening the world. How did a simple hearing innovation, invented to protect musicians in the 60s, contribute to worldwide hearing loss? What is the remedy? 1. The inspiration. Who invented the first high-fidelity in-ear monitors and earbuds? Stevie Wonder's use of in-ear stage monitors enabled the portable personal stereo Walkman era. Boomboxes are too heavy. 2. The evolution. Professional musicians are protected from excessive stage volumes. Rock concerts take professional in-ear monitors global. Personal stereo industry emulates and blossoms. Hearing damage begins to increase dramatically among wearers. 3. Eureka. The realization. Discovery of the cause. Industry confusions between sound pressure and pneumatic pressure, although their power factors differ by hundreds, if not thousands of times. 4. The resolution. Revolutionary invention removes the harmful pneumatic pressures from in-ear sound. 5. The dangerous omission. Portable personal stereo industry omits vital technology. Unrealized in-ear pressures are masked by the acoustic reflex. Excessive listening volumes are required for satisfactory in-ear sound reproduction, resulting in worldwide increase in hearing loss due to excessive volumes from personal listening devices. 6. The perfect solution. Since acoustic pressures partially become pneumatic when sealed in the ear, build a second eardrum to take the pounding. Through a miraculous sound-powered pump, harvest the harmful pressures to inflate a comfortable, one-size-fits-all ear tip. 7. The litigation. Not invented here. Acquire it or bury it until the patents expire. 8. The transformation. Industries finally began to lend both of their ears. New technology by original inventor causes lower volumes to sound louder and better. Mayor Bloomberg demands solution to earbud-related hearing loss. 1. The inspiration. In 1965, Stephen Ambrose invents in-ear monitors. My story is the history of the invention and development of the personal listening devices which became our modern-day earbuds and in-ear monitors. This is a wild journey which extends from the early imaginings of a young musician to the burgeoning success of the largest company in the world. And it's been quite a ride, for without the high-fidelity personal listening devices I invented, our world and music today would never have been the same. This story is no exaggeration or false claim of having invented the internet or the wheel. It is but a simple and factual account of exactly how these things came about and the vital technology that was almost smothered in the process. In the 1960s, my father was a professor of music at Peabody and Vanderbilt in Nashville, while I was a university brat who ran away when I was 13 years old to Music Row to begin my professional recording career. My first recording session took place in 1965, where I was thoroughly baptized in the realization of the importance of sound and its vital impact on music and life. Johnny Cash was recording in the studio next door. I was invited to listen and was amazed by how fantastic his voice sounded over the headphones. I realized that if I could hear myself that way on stage, I would sound better to myself as well as my audience, so I went home and found some transistor radio earpieces. I used some hollowed-out swim earplugs together with some silly putty to fashion the first crude in-ear monitors. Later in the early 70s, I was signed along with Jimmy Buffett and Ray Stevens to Andy Williams' Barnaby Records recording label, and I ran away again this time to Hollywood and continued recording and performing in nightclubs. As the years followed, I got to perform with many of my heroes, from Roger McGuinn of the Byrds to Jimmy Webb and Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. And all the while, I continued perfecting my in-ear monitors for professional use. 2. The evolution. Professional musicians are protected from excessive stage volumes, rock concerts take professional in-ear monitors global, personal stereo industry emulates and blossoms. Hearing damage begins to increase dramatically among wearers. Early evolution. I introduced my in-ear monitors commercially in 1976 while playing in a Hollywood nightclub. They became an immediate hit with all the percussionists, such as Joe Porcaro and Larry Bunker, who were scoring hundreds of movies such as E.T. and Star Trek. Soon, everyone in the whole 90-piece orchestra was trying out and using my in-ear monitors, including conductors such as Mark Snow, John Williams, and Lalo Schifrin. Now, Stevie Wonder used to get up from the piano and dance around on stage while playing the harmonica, as only he could, and come dangerously close to falling off the apron of the stage. I was contacted by one of Stevie's engineers, who realized that my in-ear monitors presented a means by which he could discreetly direct Stevie around the stage and keep him away from the edge. So I was invited down to the studio where Stevie was recording The Secret Life of Plants, and when I filled both of Stevie's ears with ear mold material, he suddenly grabbed my arm and screamed, "Oh my God, I'm blind!" And he was only half kidding. You see, Stevie, having been blind from birth, quote, saw his whole world acoustically, as many non-sighted persons do, and having his ears totally sealed for the first time was the first time he'd ever really shut his eyes, so to speak. I then quickly hollowed out his ear impressions and affixed some high-fidelity speakers I had made to them. But when I plugged them into the studio headphone feed, the drummer kicked the kick drum, and some of the dust left in the ear mold shot out of the sound tube. Obviously, in addition to the sound, there was also a burst of air pressure which could potentially damage his hearing. Because I was already engaged in technology which would eliminate this type of pressure, I became concerned that this was not something you wanted to put in the ears of someone who relied so completely on audio to perceive the world around him. But when I would lower the offending bass frequencies to try to protect him, Stevie would always ask me to put them back in, because despite these excessive pressures, this was the only way we had to hear everything we both needed to hear in order to give the best performance. So we went off on a world tour using only these devices, and put up with these pressures until I completed my invention, which effectively relieved them without unsealing them or compromising the bass. 3. Eureka, the realization. Discovery of the cause. Industry confusions between sound pressure and pneumatic pressure, although their power factors differ by hundreds, if not thousands, of times. Here is my first patent on this revolutionary pressure-relieving technology, which was finally granted in the 80s. 4. The resolution. Revolutionary invention removes harmful pneumatic pressures from in-ear sound. My invention effectively removed these harmful pressures and was a huge success with all the performers using them. I was the sole source of in-ear monitor technology and products for many years. Sennheiser incorporated this same early technology of mine in their recent IE8 professional model. While touring across many continents with Stevie, Simon & Garfunkel, Steve Miller, Diana Ross, and dozens of other major artists, my in-the-ear monitors were seen and appreciated by hundreds of thousands of concert-goers. In the early 80s, Stevie brought me out on stage of Radio City Music Hall to introduce me and my new invention, which was being used by everyone on stage. This dramatically demonstrated the value of having truly portable personal stereo technology. Because the concerts sounded so much better to the audience as well as the performers. 5. The Dangerous Omission. Portable personal stereo industry omits vital technology. Unrealized in-ear pressures are masked by the acoustic reflex. Excessive listening volumes are required for satisfactory in-ear sound reproduction. Worldwide increase in hearing loss due to excessive volumes from personal listening devices. Beginning in the 70s, this vast improvement of both studio and live professional sound reproduction through the use of my high-fidelity in-ear monitors enabled the introduction and popularity of both the Sony Walkman and the Apple iPod. Although similar to my original in-ear monitors, it is important to note here that these commercial devices all omitted the technology I had invented to relieve these harmful pressures. Certainly, it is true that these pressures do not exist when the ear canal is not wholly or partially sealed, but those conditions demand even greater volumes, since the speaker is not only driving the ear, but the surrounding environment, as well as trying to compete with any sound it may contain. In the decades which have followed, many studies published in the Journal of the American Medical Association and others have shown that these personal listening devices raise the risk of hearing loss by up to 70%. Responsibly, Mayor Bloomberg recently added earbud-related hearing loss to his widely publicized health campaign. Government agencies to the rescue. The purpose of the National Science Foundation and National Institutes of Health is to fund research that stimulates the technical innovation necessary to solving problems such as finding a cure for cancer, lessening global pollution, or reducing inadvertent worldwide hearing loss. A small portion of these funds are dedicated to small businesses, because it is most often only the small business outsider with nothing to lose and everything to gain that creates the disruptive change necessary to turning things around. The technical merit and societal benefits associated with my efforts to address these valid and widely held hearing health concerns resulted in the award of research grants from both the National Science Foundation and the National Institutes of Health. This vital assistance resulted in confirming the following scientific discoveries and breakthroughs. 6. The perfect solution. Since acoustic pressures partially become pneumatic when sealed in the ear, build a second eardrum to take the pounding. Through a miraculous sound-powered pump, harvest the harmful pressures to inflate a comfortable one-size-fits-all ear tip. Here are a few of the hundreds of news articles these discoveries and revolutionary inventions have garnered.
Nipping it in the bud. I'm Bob Carson with the Discovery Files. New advances in science and engineering from the National Science Foundation. If you're listening to this with earbuds, you could experience listener fatigue, and it has little to do with me, the subject matter, or this music. It's your ears just doing their job. Engineers at Colorado's Asius Technologies have the cause and the cure for this condition. Their research deals with systems that seal the ear canal, such as in-ear headphones or hearing aids. They initially found these systems create a highly magnified sound pressure level, and what amounts to a physiological catch-22. You see, your ear has a built-in acoustic reflex that's triggered by high sound pressure levels. Sound gets dampened to protect your inner ear, but that in turn causes you to turn the device up louder. The more you pump it up, the more you subject your eardrum to excessive shaking. Once the team understood the way the process works, they set out to develop a system that would break the cycle. Their solution? Build a second eardrum, a synthetic membrane attached to the tip of any in-ear device to take the brunt of the pounding. Eardrum protected, no acoustic reflex, and lower volumes sound louder. The accurate, non-fatiguing sound provided by this new technology can be retrofitted on existing devices. It could mean a safer, richer sound for those wearing hearing aids, and less need to crank it up for the rest of us. For the Discovery Files, I'm Bob Carson.
Over 3 decades ago, Stevie Wonder's gracious support of me and my in-ear monitors validated this technology for the rest of the music profession, thereby saving hundreds of thousands of musicians and engineers from the deafening stage volumes that afflicted legends like Pete Townsend and so many others. Similarly, the National Science Foundation and the National Institutes of Health have made it possible for me to achieve even greater breakthroughs, which now allow all personal listening devices and hearing aids to sound much better and louder at lower volumes, which finally extends this superior fidelity and protection to everyone, not just musicians and engineers. 7. The litigation. Not invented here. Acquire it or bury it until the patents expire. Update. Asius Technologies licenses to industry majors. 8. The transformation. Industries begin to lend both of their ears. New technology by original inventor causes lower volumes to sound louder and better. Mayor Bloomberg demands solution to earbud-related hearing loss. We don't have to be told not to touch a hot stove. Why do we have to be told to turn down our listening volumes? For decades, the only solution to personal listening device-related hearing loss has been to demand that wearers listen at lower levels than they preferred, something even professionals couldn't do and still perform well. The solution of just turn it down has never worked because it misunderstands the reason that wearers turn their volumes up too loud in the first place. Unrealized in-ear pneumatic pressures madly trigger the acoustic reflex and dramatically lower hearing sensitivity. Asius Technologies research efforts funded by the National Science Foundation and the National Institutes of Health have finally solved this puzzle, and the resulting technology is successfully transforming the industry into producing personal listening devices which sound both louder and better at lower volumes. Recent human studies conducted with Vanderbilt University have confirmed that Asius Technologies devices sound significantly louder and can be listened to at much lower volume levels. The fact that they also sound better than conventional devices has allowed us to make significant commercialization strides this year. Apple's head of retail has conferred upon us the title of the Holy Grail of audio, custom mold sound without the expense and discomfort of conventional molds. Major healthcare providers see an opportunity to provide lower-cost, more effective hearing aids using our technology and have witnessed or participated in successful human testing and provided hearing aids for modification. Audio companies such as Beats and Logitech have initiated licensing discussions. We really expect to get a liftoff with a Kickstarter campaign this summer, and we recently turned a predatory lawsuit with a market leader into a licensing agreement. This video demonstrates the patented capability of our Ambrose diaphonic pump to convert sound pressure into usable energy. Using only the sound generated by a tiny hearing aid speaker, the first device to ever do this is shown in this video blowing up a soap bubble and inflating a Gore-Tex airbag to lift a quarter. Recently reduced to about the size of a period in an email and arranged in series, these pumps are powerful enough to lift a grapefruit using the same speaker sound. Their potential applications range from highly efficient drug pumps to large panel arrays which can be used to convert noise pollution into usable energy. They have been applied here to earbuds and hearing aids to pressurize an inflatable ear tip in the canal. Allowing for a one-size-fits-all custom coupling, the Ambrose diaphonic ear lens absorbs harmful pressures and is extremely comfortable. The green energy applications of this revolutionary technology, which transform noise pollution into a new fuel source, have garnered Asius Technologies the support of Autodesk's Clean Tech program. This first commercially available consumer model, incorporating the Ambrose diaphonic ear lens, or Adele technology, is poised for a Kickstarter release late this summer as shown in this video. Based on the original in-ear monitors from the 70s, this Stephen Ambrose Signature Series edition utilizes gold-plated metal alloys which allow the speaker to efficiently radiate more of its energy as sound instead of simply wasting it by vibrating conventional plastic enclosures, which are too light to hold the speaker still. This superior design incorporates all of the benefits of Asius' revolutionary Adele technology, which allow lower levels to sound significantly louder and better, thereby reducing potential hearing loss. It incorporates an ear tip which swivels to comfortably fit a wide range of ear canals, and its cord can be rotated and positioned over the ear or hung downward. The speaker's cords and ear tips are replaceable and upgradable to improved models, including future inflatable ear tips. Limited edition Bloomberg models encased in solid gold with fully adjustable acoustic lenses will also be available to those who are earnest about reducing worldwide hearing loss through superior sound. These contributions will support Asius Technologies' mission of lowering overall listening volumes with its revolutionary in-ear devices which sound louder and better at lower volumes. Details regarding the launch date will be announced in the Wall Street Journal this summer. Now in a metronome signal, you can see quite distinct motion here, which is on the order of microns. All right, I've been asked to show the function of the Ambrose diaphonic ear lens in absorbing the overexcursions impinged on the tympanic membrane. So let's go ahead and put this in my ear canal. And you can see these motions here. And we'll focus on the eardrum. And we can see that this motion, which was so great that we had up here, is now gone. Let's switch to the metronome. And we see that the membrane is absorbing these overexcursions.